The weather was beautiful outside, the sun was shining brightly. A pack of cigarettes landed on the table. It was thrown by an angry woman who asked for a refund for the cigarettes she had bought. The main character asked the woman if she had a receipt, but the woman didn't understand why she needed a receipt for a refund. But immediately the guy inquired why the girl was eating to return the money. But the angry woman was not in the spirit. She shouted at the guy who was not guilty of anything. The angry girl said that the buyer can return what he'd bought and get the money back. The girl did not want to listen to Hwi Sung. He demanded from her a receipt to make sure that the woman bought cigarettes in his store, and not in the store across the street. The girl told the guy that she didn't have the receipt because she immediately threw it away when she bought the cigarettes. Hwi Sung said that he would not give her a refund because she could not prove that she had made the purchase at the store where she asked for a refund. Immediately, the woman asked the guy if he took his residence papers when he left his house. The main character also did not understand whether the girl throws away the documents of her place of residence. He didn't know how he could make sure that the woman didn't buy cigarettes cheaply in another store, and didn't need to earn extra money. She thought the guy thought she was a fraud. The woman threatened him with customer service. The guy just picked up a fly swatter and started waving it around, saying that the flies were getting to him. The girl turned around and walked towards the exit of the store. It didn't work for her. She couldn't lie. Hwi Sung just stood and looked at the woman leaving. Night had fallen. It was dark outside. Someone came into the store and called out to Hwi Sung. It was his brother. The protagonist asked his brother if he was back. The guy said he did a good job, and he was tired. The mentor had a broken left eye near his eyebrow. To which Hwi Sung said his left eye was broken today. The guy kept saying that he heard it while sparring. The protagonist thought that guy was great. All he does is play sports in his free time and go to school. But his brother said that they both work and study. Hwi Sung wondered if it was fun to be beaten up forever. But words can't describe it. It's an addictive sport. The guy told Hwi Sung. But the main character was already famous in school. His brother would like to compete in MMA. Although the art of fighting and fighting are the same thing, Hwi Sung thought so. He's been practicing a lot. He's had a lot of training. That's why he knows and doesn't want to try. But there's nothing to be done if that's what the protagonist decides. The guy apologized to his brother. The mentor offered him to come and cheer for him. He asked his brother if there would be a fight. The guy said that this Sunday the amateur league opens in the fight club. He's entered a professional competition. If he wins, he'll go pro. Hwi Sung was shocked at the whole thing. It was easier than he expected. But his brother was mad at the guy. He told him if he knew how hard he worked to get here. But it actually sounds really cool. He really wanted to sleep with the pros. Anyway, if you're interested, come watch it live. It's much cooler than on TV, said so Hwi Sung's brother. The protagonist, of course, that agreed to still this day, he can become a professional fighter. The guy said he'd text the address and time. He was about to leave. He went home. He went outside. It was very dark in the sky. There were many stars. Hwi Sung looked at the sky and thought, It was daytime outside. The sun was shining very brightly. The guy walked to the club to get the address. He stood looking at the club. He wondered if this was the place. Hwi Sung called his brother and said he was embarrassed to go in. The guy asked if the main character was already there. He said he's in front of the stadium right now. But the fight is starting soon, so his brother won't be able to meet him. Hwi Sung walked up to the guard as he said, "Come in." The guy was walking down the stairs to the club. He thought it was an amateur competition, but it's all disorganized and very dirty. He was going to watch other people's fights, but he thought he would go home right after his brother's fight. It was dark, there was no light, and the path to the hall was not lit. When Hwi Sung saw the hall, there were many people there. Everyone was shouting. It was very loud. There was already someone fighting in the hall. The guy was watching all those men fighting among themselves. They were one by one without feeling any strength. The master's heart did not hold the pain as the mentor kicked the guy in the neck, and he fell to the floor. From the hall could hear the sounds of people shouting that it was amazing. It was a good kick. Hwi Sung was standing there looking at all of this when a guy came up from behind and asked him if he was here. It was the main character's brother. Hwi Sung didn't know this place at all. The guy asked him if he had any doubts about it. The brother thought it was a cool place and everything. The protagonist said that the place had a rather tense atmosphere. Behind Jeong Hwan came a foreman who said that the guy didn't have time for all this. Hwi Sung's brother said they would celebrate later if Jeong Hwan wins the fight tonight. The protagonist agreed to it. Why not celebrate? Sung Hoon Hyun thought Hwi Sung was in good shape, thinking he was better than Jeong Hwan. But the brother master was tough. The main character was watching. He didn't have a smile on his face. He was looking at everything seriously. The guy said that his brother would like this fight. The man standing on the stage introduced the new fighters. Jeong Hwan was the blue team's fighter. Choi Hyo-sip was the red team's fighter. The guy told the fighters to come to the middle of the ring. Hwi Sung looked at his brother. The man asked the blue guy if he was ready, then asked the red guy. The bell rang as the red team guy punched Jeong Hwan, but he ducked. But then Choi Hyo-sip punched him right in the face. Hwi Sung's brother covered his face with his hands and put his foot on the floor and hit the red team guy back. Jeong Hwan and Choi Hyo-sip hit one at the same time on the face, and the protagonist had a thought. He doesn't look like himself at all, too tense and worried. The brother was ready for the punch as the protagonist shouted for Hyun to tense up so much. And then Choi Hyo-sip punched the guy in the right eye. Hwi Sung was surprised as Hyun suddenly shouted his name and ducked to the side. The man was very angry. He ran up and hit the guy who said the word damn. From the audience, the guy yelled at him to get away. But the guy didn't make it. He fell on his knee, and the master ran up to him and said stop. The man said the fight was over because the winner was Choi Hyo-sip of the red team. Hwi Sung kept saying that Lee Jeong Hwan couldn't take the crushing blow to his chin. He was unfortunately defeated despite his success in professional fights. As soon as Hwi Sung opened his eyes, he was shocked to see the red team fighter punching his brother sitting on top of him. He was punching the guy in the face with all his might. Master pulled Choi Hyun-sop away, saying what was he doing if the fight was already over. But the guy was out of his mind. He didn't care what he was told. The guy yelled to the man to get off the jerk. He ran up to Lee Jeong Hwan again, sat on him and started beating him up. Sung Hoon Hyun called out for Jeong Hwan, but he was out of it. The parquet near him was shouting what the staff was doing. The girl standing near Hwi Sung was terrified. She didn't know what to do, because if no one does anything, at this rate he will kill him. The protagonist began to rush to his brother's aid. He ran with the words, "What the hell is he doing?" The guy ran fast, jumped the stairs that led to the battle scene. Everyone was running, not knowing what to do. Hwi Sung landed on his feet and started running towards his brother. The man sitting on top of Hyun was telling him to die. But the main character ran up behind him and grabbed Choi Hyun-sung by the neck. The guy said Lee, as he took it and threw the man to the end. With the words "fuck back," Hwi Sung approached his brother and asked if Hyun was okay. Choi Hyo-sip called the guy a jerk because he stopped him from beating up Hwi Sung's brother. A man from the audience standing next to a woman who covered her face with her hands in fear said there in the back. There was a man standing behind the guy. Hyun's brother was asking for the guy to wake up. The guy's eyes were open. He had a blank stare. Hwi Sung asked for an ambulance. Again, they said she was hit from behind there. From behind was a man who punched Hwi Sung in the face, who fell to the floor hitting the net. The guy resented that who was he to interfere T son. Took Hwi Sung by the head and slammed it against his knee. The master standing in the audience shouted, "Knee strike?" But that guy went too far. How could he even hit an ordinary person? A man from the hall shouted, "How come there's some minner who yelled for Hyo-sip to stop? This time he can't get away with a suspension," said the guy. "But he keeps beating Hwi Sung on his knee." But the protagonist took matters into his own hands. He called the guy a bastard. And he bent his fist, put his foot on the floor, and hit Choi Hyun's sop with the words, who couldn't take it, and fell to the floor. Everyone in the hall was in shock. They were watching with their mouths open. The director looked at Hwi Sung from the crowd of people. The guy asked him if he was okay, but he didn't respond to anything. Someone indicated to stop the man. 3 guards came running in and grabbed Hwi Sung and started carrying him away. He was indignant, saying, "Why him? If the guy attacked him." He said it's unfair and unjust. The principal said Hwi Sung was a diamond. It was evening, and there were lots of stars in the sky. Jeong Hwan and his brother were sitting on a bench. The boy asked about the results of the fight. But the brother replied that they were cancelled because Choi Hyo Sop was immediately suspended from the competition. Hwi Sung wondered if his brother would develop further as a professional. But Hyun said he didn't because he didn't win the fight to improve his skills. Plus, he didn't thank his brother. After all, he came to his aid when he was passed out. But Hwi Sung thought if he wants to thank me, he should let me replace him. But he said he couldn't. But his brother said he could rest and recover now. But for some reason, he wanted to see Hyun just wanted to see me and say something. But the guy didn't know what he was talking about, so he told him not to misunderstand him and to listen. The man asked him to tell him straight so there wouldn't be any misunderstandings. And then his brother suggested boxing, if he wanted to try boxing. The guy thought about it and took Hyung's business card. The organizer of the famous fights is Jeong Hwan, who said he was impressed by how Hwi Sung took down Choi Hyo from the main league. He said he wants to make the guy a professional MMA fighter. Asked him to meet him. It's not fair to make such an offer. But the kid was wondering if he could handle it himself. To be honest, he's both interested and confused. He had tried to play sports in the past, but only brought everyone a bunch of problems. But Hwi Sung's brother said so what? He didn't come here for his whining. That's what the brother said. The guy didn't like it, so he told him he meant it. But he said he was just kidding and told Hwi Sung not to be so gullible. The brother said enough jokes, so he'd better tell him a little about himself. The reason why the man liked boxing is not so grand. He thought it would be fun to watch a boxing fight. But as he sees that Hyun has almost turned pro. But Hwi Sung said that either way his brother won't give up, right? He said that of course, like he said, it's a drag. It's his destiny, and he doesn't want to be a champion. He's only doing it because it's fun and interesting. Do you need a huge dream if you want to do what you like to do? Hwi Sung said his brother doesn't need a dream to do what he loves. The man was about to leave. The brother thought it was wrong to ask the guy if he was leaving. It's a little late for that. I start work tomorrow, said so brother. Ruskell, go ahead. Do your best, said the boy. But take better care of yourself, said the man. Hwi Sung walked and thought about how things should be. His brother sat there looking at him and started laughing. But damn, that's how Hwi Sung envisioned it all. They had arranged a meeting with the principal. The guy who worked for the director inquired about the meeting between the director and the protagonist. The man said he was going to meet the most talked about guy of this season. In the major leagues. The guy was unhappy that some common man knocked out a professional athlete. The internet went crazy after that hit. After all, the director was going to call Hwi Sung to join them. Mr. apologized and asked if the director wanted to turn this guy into a professional. The director wondered if the main character was not suitable for the role. But the guy thought he was just lucky to hit a tired athlete in the ring. But the man repeated smiling, just lucky. That is, the guy thinks he was just lucky. The guy still has a lot to learn. Choi Hyo Sip may cause trouble, but his recovery ability is higher than the others. Sure, he got hurt during the match, but even under those circumstances, a simple rookie wouldn't be able to knock him out. That's not all. But the headmaster had to run to the meeting already. The guy wished the man a good meeting. The director thought for a professional, qualities were as important as skill. No one relies solely on fighting skills these days. They sometimes fight. They provoke their opponents, possess quick reactions, and humor to control the situation and their fans. That's just my hunch. But the director thinks that guy has the potential to be a star. The meeting was at a cafe. Hwi Sung asked the first question to Mr. You want to make me a professional fighter? What did you see in me to make that decision? He thought it was easier to show the guy this than to explain. The director opened his laptop and showed the stunts of Hwi Sung punching Choi Hyo-sop. The Mr. was shocked by this uppercut when the main character knocked out with one punch. The man replied that he was just lucky. It was luck. Just lucky. The principal didn't believe it. He said that the guy shifted all his weight to his left leg, fixed his right leg to make it more comfortable to rotate his upper body and waist, and it wasn't just an uppercut. It's a right uppercut. And Hwi Sung thinks it's just luck. He wasn't aiming it. Actually, the guy said both, but the man didn't understand. He could have taken Hwi Sung out when he saw he was open and hit him. The director said he wanted to say he saw the enemy open and hit him. That's absurd. I knew my gut was right. That's what the master thought. And said Hwi Sung used to play sports? The man asked a question. 3 years of baseball in elementary school, and 6 years of wrestling in middle school. The guy answered. No wonder the guy has an unusual reaction. Now the man wants to ask the question directly. Why didn't Hwi Sung do MMA before? But the guy hesitated and didn't know how to answer. He said that he wants to try, but as here Mr. wanted to offer something, but the guy said that he is in the box financially. The popularity will not fall from the sky. If he wants to sleep professional, he will need to invest a lot of money. Doesn't want to alarm his parents because of his ambition. The man thought about it and said he needs $1,000,000 every night, right? The man decided to solve this issue. The guy doesn't need to worry about the equipment they provide. If you work a few part-time jobs, the income will be equal to the social workers. But the guy is sure that the director won't do it for nothing. Hwi Sung will have to take a sparring test if the head director likes him. But the guy asked the question, what if he doesn't? But the man said he'll go on with his life as before. But it looks like they want to make sure the guy does. The decision is up to the guy. If Hwi Sung had any more questions, but he was wondering when the sparring would take place, he said it would be in a month at Jeong Hwan's gym, and the training would be the same. But can the guy change the test date? But the principal said he agreed a month might not be enough, then the guy can just contact him when he's ready. But the guy didn't want to postpone the test for later, he wanted to do it today. The master was shocked that he wanted to do it today. Hwi Sung said he wanted to do it today. But what's wrong with this guy? Seriously want to do it today? He said he's dead serious first. Why don't you give him a reason why the test has to be today? The man proves to Hwi Sung that MMA is not as easy a sport as he thinks. The guy says that's why he asked for a change. It doesn't matter if it's tomorrow or a month from now, his skills still won't get any better. Doesn't know why, but it sounds convincing, thought the master. Anyway, the answer is, no, we need to find a sparring partner for him. The director asked the guy to postpone the test for at least a week. But the guy said, isn't it more stupid to open the test for a month? To pass any test you have to learn the basics, don't you? Said Mr. But the guy understands that. Then that was the end of their meeting. The test will be taken next week at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hwi Sung can still refuse. Are you sure you won't regret it? The mister asked confidently. But the boy was confident too. But the man was shocked by his confidence. He said that even though the outcome of the 1-week rookie test was already clear, and then told Hwi Sung that he would decline unless they agreed to take the test as he said, and not as the master said. But the man said no problem, prepare well. The master wished the guy. Hwi Sung agreed, said he'd see the master next week. He took off. After a week, came that day. The guy came to the headquarters, looked at him. So it is the command headquarters. The main character walked into the gym and said, excuse me. He watched the other guys working out, and he just had one thought in his head, that it was cool. He saw a guy with a trainer telling him to keep his hands close to his body and hit him. What an awesome punch, the guy thought, but then Hyung called out to him. He called out to him. Said what's he standing there for? He'd tell them he was here. He stood there like that again. But the guy said Hyung was at it again. But the brother wasn't alone, he was with the guy's coach, who the main character approached and introduced himself by name. Park Sung-hoon shook his hand and introduced himself as the coach of the team. The coach asked the guy's buddy Jeong Hwan if he minded if he dropped the formality. But Hwi Sung didn't mind. The man heard from Director Chan that the guy would be taking part in the test in a week. Park will be honest with the guy. Wouldn't it be better to drop the test? The coach doesn't understand this. So why couldn't the man just opt out? Jeong Hwan was asked to change into his gym uniform and get ready for practice. The guy agreed and suggested to Hwi Sung that they go together to change. It finally started. Mr. said it was just a waste of time. What will he learn in 1 week? Even if he learns something, it'll take a long time. So they'll only teach you the punches you need, Park Sung said. The boy understood. All right, what do you think is the most important thing in wrestling? The coach asked a question. But Hwi Sung said uncertainly, isn't it kick? Park Sung-hoon said that's right, the strategies are different, but damage is the basis of all the basics. First we learn the jab for demonstration, said the coach, and showed the guy a punch. But Hwi Sung didn't understand anything. The man asked him if it was good. But the main character said yes. He said, do you really think so? As immediately, he replied that to be honest it looks much weak and clumsy. But the master showed the second punch and asked how he felt about it. But Hwi Sung said that this one is much better. The man said that was correct, but the boy would only teach the first option. He didn't understand why. Park Sung-hoon said that in MMA, you have to watch not only punches but also kicks and blocks. In this case, distance is important. The second punch used mainly in boxing must have a specific target. But in MMA, the opponent will be standing next to you, so it is less effective. In this significant difference, the stance in MMA is lower and the legs are spread wider. The next straight one is similar to the boxing stance. You can alternate it with a jab. Do a jab and return the arm to the opposite position, at the same time turn the body and extend straight the other arm. Well, when you finish return the hand to the jaw and put the front hand in front of the face again defense. When Park Sung-hoon explained to the guy, Hwi Sung said he understood. The man said that was the end of it. But the main character was shocked like that? But the coach said he'll be halfway to victory if he can master those 2 punches. Practice until his body remembers. But be careful when the punching bag comes at you, or you'll hurt your wrist, said the man. The boy agreed. Lee Jeong Hwan approached Hyun and asked if he missed too much. But the man said he taught him everything he needed to know. He didn't miss anything. The guy was shocked because he didn't teach him, but just explained to him what he would learn by learning the theory. But the coach kept saying, what difference would it make if he taught him well? He's only got 1 week, remember? Even if he has talent, it's impossible, said the man. The guy said that Hwi Sung is his close friend. Park Sung-hoon said that's why he trained with him. Do you think you'd look at him if he wasn't your friend? Stop hoping for a miracle and practice and go back home. Neither the guy nor the coach realized anything. When they turned around they saw Hwi Sung forcefully hitting the punching bag with different strokes and methods. He was hitting the punching bag with both his leg and his arm. After what the coach saw, he asked Lee Jeong Hwan, what? He said he was just a beginner. The guy said he didn't know it himself, that he was so good. I'm sure it was his first time in training. Hwi Sung again hit the punching bag with his fist, but didn't realize somehow things are getting a lot more interesting. Here, the guy struck again with his foot. 2 times. Then the coach yelled, stop, stop. The coach told the guy, you're a ballet dancer? Or are you scaring away flies with your feet? You're putting too much force into it. Pick one point and aim for it. Let's start by learning how to be a foot. Again! The kid didn't mind. But then the leader came in and said hello to everyone. Yes, said Hwi Sung. The man wished everyone a good job. Park Sung-hoon went up to him and asked him if he was back. How was the seminar? The seminar went as usual. I haven't seen this guy before, said the man. That's the guy you were talking about on the phone. The one director Jang has his eye on. Hwi Sung, this is director Hwang Sang-guk introducing Park Sung-hoon. The guy said hello and said it's nice to meet you. The man asked him if he liked MMA. He said yes. It's fun. He would watch more tournaments. There you go, thought the manager. It was getting cold in the hall for some reason. Hwang Sang-guk told the guy to try hard and get good results. Keep up the pace. Thank you for your work, Park Sung said. Now let's continue. The guy didn't understand what the leader was talking about. The day before the test, you frivolous jerk, I have 1 day left and still can't master the right kick. What was I thinking when I asked for the test in a week? Still, if I'd thought twice about it, I wouldn't have asked for a test in a week. I'll practice a little more. The guy thought to himself and kicked the punching bag. Just then a man came up behind him and asked the guy what he was doing here so late. How's your punch? Practicing it all day. The guy said he couldn't get it right. The man asked him to hit it once. The guy didn't quite get it. The supervisor told him to hit the adjusty to see if he could get used to it. Told the guy. But Hwi Sung asked the coach how old Hwang Sang-guk was, but he told him to do what I told him. The guy stood up and did what he was asked. He asked what he thought. The man said it sucks. You're only using your legs, so you're doing it so slowly. Use your stomach muscles. Stomach muscles. The guy was shocked and asked again. The leader said his thighs work together with his abdomen. The guy only uses half of his muscles and thinks he will succeed? He said he would, so he said to watch carefully. Tense your abdominal muscles to work your hips well. And lift your legs as you start to turn your waist. Asterisk, the guy got it and saw it. He thought this is the kind of kick he envisioned. The supervisor asked him what he thought. Hwi Sung said it was awesome. Sounds like a real kick. But Hwang shut the guy's mouth and told him to just do what he said. The guy tensed his abs and at the same time, jumped up, lifted his leg and kicked. The supervisor said it was much better. Hwi Sung was tired. The man said, seeing how you grasp things the first time, it's easy to see why Director Jang is interested in you. I thought it was just for fun. But for him, why? Hwang Sang-guk said it was the guy who said it. The guy apologized. He said he shouldn't have said that. But the man said not to apologize. He also does MMA because it's fun and interesting. There is no call for MMA. Looking at MMA as fun is much better than looking at it as a job. Wrap it up and go home. Relaxing should be a good idea too. The guy said thank you very much to the supervisor. The man said the guy is a weirdo. If anyone sees him, they'll think he's on their team. Do well on tomorrow's test. Hwi Sung thought, how could it be? The day came. The competitors prepared for the fight. They warmed up and put on gloves. A man walked in. It was the director of an elite fight club, Kim Sung-yeop. He asked if it was that guy. But the master said yes. Handsome, isn't he? Is he the one who does flying punches? Kim Sung-yeop asked. The mentor answered him that Coach Park also said he is a quick learner. The man said, that we'll see. Hyun said to Hwi Sung, don't worry. Just do the same as you did in technical sparring. Relax and don't overexert yourself in the fight. The guy agreed with that. The man said he just started MMA, mixed martial arts, last week, so don't overdo it and slacken your defenses. Coach, in the welterweight division, a freshman doesn't even have to defend himself to spar with me. Let's let him go, huh? The kid said. The man gave a count to the fighters to get ready. The guy asked Hwi Sung why his eyes are closed. Is he afraid? This is sparring without fighting. * 3 rounds, 2 minutes each, said the master. Note: Conditional sparring is sparring with restrictions and prohibitions. Sparring without wrestling. Conditional sparring in which opponents fight while on their feet, as in boxing, elbows and knees may not be used. Undesirable strikes below the belt and wrong. Inner calm, repeated to himself Guy. We got to the gloves in the corners. The bell rang as the fight began. The guy hit the main character, but he defended himself. The director said his defense was good. Hwi Sung stepped back and the guy said again, "Are you running away?" He punched the protagonist in the stomach. He grimaced. The director said he was being hit too hard. The master said he thought the guy hadn't lost yet. He thought to himself, "What's wrong with him? We can't just split up like this." "You're not going to fight?" asked the boy. Just like when he was facing his opponent, he punched him in the chin. Kim Sung-yeop was shocked. "A wide punch," said the guy to Hwi Sung. When he tried to hit him, he punched the guy in the face again. But the guy hit him back. They were both getting beaten up. Hyun stood beside the leader and said, "Look at Hwi Sung. He doesn't pass even in front of a professional opponent." Hwang Sang got thought for a moment. "Round 1 is over." Master said, "Please go to the corners of the ring." "That was powerful." "It's hard, but it's fun to get hit too." "Why the hell didn't I do that before?" "I had my doubts, you asshole." "Get in position," said the man. "Not bad, he knows where to hit." "However," said the head director, "the guy got hot." The master was shocked. "He lacks experience, his strength is not enough to focus on the fight," said Kim Sung-yeop. Immediately the guy hit Hwi Sung again. "Thought you were holding up so well, how sad." "Yeah, hold on a little longer," said the guy. And then the bell rang. "Round 2 is over," said the master. Hwi Sung sat down on the chair. His body was aching. Hyun said to him, "Recover your breath and see how you feel." "I don't think it is still necessary to observe," said the director. "It looks like the boy confirmed it. Apparently he is going through a bad time, so let's end it well, coach him," said Kim. "Ah, thank you very much, sir," said Mr. Lee. Hwi Sung said his coach. "Leader?" said the guy when he saw him. The supervisor started yelling at Hwi Sung. He said, "That's the way you act in the ring? What kind of asshole would give you a break?" "What favors?" the guy said. "MMA is a sport for real men. A fucking man sport that grabs guys by the balls and opens their eyes." "What the f*** are you talking about?" "Hey, Lee Hung," said the master. "Told you to enjoy yourself, but don't look down on the fight. Don't regret anything, just fight like you always have. But even so, don't you dare really grab him by the balls." "I can get rid of the extra weight, can't I?" Hwi Sung asked and threw off his helmet. Final round. The director looked at Hwi Sung. He took off all the balance, so they will fight seriously this time. What's wrong with this asshole? Thought to myself, the guy was beating him up the whole time, but now his face and stance are both relaxed. It's like there's a different person in front of me. Well, let's see what he's up to. And I rushed to get Hwi Sung. And the latter ducked his head and laughed. "Ack is hot," said the guy. The principal coughed, and the master said all was lost. If he hadn't dug in, they could have gotten a contract, but now all is lost, said the foreman. Did the guy think he was going to show me something, or was he bluffing? Liar! For now, finish this and get a good rest, said the guy, but Hwi Sung punched the man. Everyone was shocked. The master from the hall said he missed the punch so easily. As the guy wanted to hit the protagonist, but he ducked. He tried to hit him 3 times. The man thought, shit, right in the face. 1 punch and it'll be the last one. But Hwi Sung ducked and punched the guy in the stomach and then walked away. The master was shocked and thought, what the hell? The guy stood there just looking and smiling as he got into the pose that Park Sung-hoon taught him. But the man was angry. He was saying that Hwi Sung was a damn bastard and went to be the guy. But the main character pushed him with his elbow, and then he tried to hit him, but he ducked in different directions and didn't let him hit him. How the fuck is that possible? He's dodging all the punches. He's attacking. The man thought to himself. The guy kicked the man in the side of his stomach with his foot. Was he bluffing? Thought the mister. Immediately, the main character punched the guy in the stomach and in the face. The man was in pain. Is he going to lose now? Said the master, but Hyung asked him if he's a loser. But Kim Sung-yeop had one thought: he is not at all unyielding, completely defeated. His fingertips, his feet, his eyesight. He used a combination of movements different from his pace. Questionable, but unexpected blows. Careless but controlled steps. A lightness of movement that balances between roughness and agility. Is this his true style? Can a novice really fight with such determination? It's as if I've been awakened from a long sleep. It gets me, but in battle. There's no way I succumb to your pace, said the guy. But then the protagonist hit the guy in the chin, and then in the face, and he fell to the floor. The master stood there and watched. Sung Hoon won't finish the fight? Asked the leader. But a man came up to the guy and said that enough, the fight is over, Hwi Sung can go. There was a lot of sound from the audience. Everyone was screaming. Wow, that was awesome. That was awesome. The director was looking at the guy, and the guy was looking at him. The director said, Hwi Sung, that was a good fight. The outcome was unexpected. The guy thanked the director. But I noticed you had a very bad habit in the final round, paying more attention to the fight than the fight, don't you think? But the protagonist couldn't understand what he was talking about. Athletes, not fighters. In sports, there are rules and other things that must be followed. In his mind, a man who can't see the difference doesn't deserve to be an athlete. You can be rough and tough, but you can't cross the line. You frown. Don't you know what I'm talking about? Kim Sung-yeop asked. Hwi Sung said he understands, saying that sportsmanship is important. But can't I do everything but the forbidden techniques to win? Do you really think so? Asked the man. But the main character said yes, because losing shows your uselessness. Well, we can discuss that later. Shall we get to the contract? When do you want to sign it? We can do it right now if... Asked the mentor. The guy said he wouldn't sign the contract. Yeah, sure. It's good to be honest with... What? Said the handyman. The kid doesn't think he's fit to be an athlete in an elite fight club. If you'll excuse me. The mastermind looked at him and thought. Someone called Hwang Sang-guk to ask how the director is doing. Oh, that's right, I got it. The man replied that of course he understood. Thank you. The main character started apologizing. He got them in trouble. So you know how I feel, huh? Yeah, of course I do. I'm listening to you now. Why did you want to join our team? Asked the leader. But the guy was just because he needed a reason? But the master said he's a jerk. All you know how to do is talk. To tell you the truth, he wanted to get back at Principal Kim for being a little cold with you. The kid said it wasn't like that. He could tell right from wrong. He played sports his whole life, and all my coaches told me the same thing. One man told me to stop kicking, do what you're told. The other man told him to stop despising, and do what you need to do. If he didn't start obeying him, he would prevent him from winning by creating more work for him. That day, they all kneeled and got punished. The supervisor asked if the kids saw those coaches and Principal Kim, didn't he? But the guy said they are all the same, gotta do this, gotta do that. By saying that, they kill the athlete's individuality. But the principal's different. He was interested in why. He said to fight the way he likes. Whether I grab them by the balls or gouge their eyes out, he should enjoy the fight until it's over. The supervisor said, come on, hey. Said it without thinking because he made the stance. But the guy said he may have. But a coach would never tell an athlete. That's bullshit. The teacher was shocked. But why so rude? But the wordsmiths really encouraged the kid. Because no one had ever said that to him before. That's why he wants to learn from them. The coach was speechless. He told the kid to eat or it's gonna burn. He knows what he's talking about. But Hwi Sung, many people come into MMA because of their love for the sport, just like the guy. Those same people leave the sport after a couple years, and you know why? Because they can't afford it. They exercise until they start starving themselves. MMA sport is for those who have a lot of money. So everyone wants to get into a soy to make a lot of money. But the guy said if he wanted to make money in MMA he would forget it. The master said he's just pretending to think about it, isn't he? But the main character does it because he loves MMA. He's not doing it for the money. 100 out of 100 people start out with the same thoughts. And 99 out of 100 who say that give up, said man. But the guy said, what then? Let him start the same way. There's a 1% chance. Yeah, but it's very small, said the leader. So they will see that he is the 1 in 100. But this will be my last opportunity. I have already decided that I will not return to a life limited by money, said the guy. Hwi Sung thought about it. He took a drink and put the glass on the table. Are you sure you won't regret it? Asked the master. He made the decision himself, so there will be no regrets in the future. But he said that he himself. He'll change his mind later when he's broke. Later is later, I'll work like a snake, said the boy. But the master asked him, how about like a worm? Oh yes, a worm, replied Hwi Sung, and they started laughing. I don't know. What else is there to say when you've made up your own mind? Said the master. So we agree? Asked the protagonist. Who cares if you do or don't? As if that makes any difference. Strike while the iron is hot, so we'll start next week, replied the man. The boy thanked the master. The man thought to himself, the more he watches this guy, the more interesting it gets. It won't be a big deal if he joins the association. Athletes need pure obsession. And only money fits best. However, right now, some guy said, I'm sorry, director, but times are changing, and money is giving way to old age sports. It's become popular, but he still feels the uni, though he doesn't want to blame them for it. Doesn't know what the future holds, but right now, the master doesn't want to give the boy to someone else. The man said he'll talk to Sung Hoon about it, so the kid has to fill out the entry papers. And they'll change his entry fee before the debut. That's a bit. Can I get a discount? Said the main character. But the master laughed. Ha 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 ha. Can I? I'm not in a good position right now, said the guy. Talk to Sung Hoon. He knows what to do, said Hwi Sung. Aw, and can I defer payment? I want to apply for a tax deduction from my father's card, said Hwi Sung. You can of course, replied the master. What about the debts? How long will it take to pay them off? Can I pay the debts in 5 months instead of 3 months? The man said he could. The guy started asking question after question. The foreman didn't like it and said enough is enough. The day came and the weather was beautiful. Hwi Sung came to the club. He said hello to everyone. All the attention was only on the guy. He introduced himself to everyone by name. The coach said, why are you standing there? Let's get a move on. We have a lot of work to do. The main character yelled, yes. Please take care of me. God, how loud, the coach said. They went into the staff room. Park Sung-hoon asked the guy what he would drink, Americano? Or instant coffee? He said he would drink Americano, but the master said he only had instant coffee. Hwi Sung thought, well then why ask what the guy would drink? The coach was looking at a book while Hwi Sung was drinking coffee. Suddenly, the coach got close to the protagonist's knee, which frightened him. The protagonist assumed that the coach is not the same orientation, but he instantly explained that he does it for work. The guy made an incomprehensible look, while the coach with a surprised face touched the chest of the guy, who did not understand why the coach touched his nipple. This confused the coach, and he asked how long the hero stopped training. He explained that it was a little less than 2 years. The trainer sat down across from the guy and started asking questions about weight and nutrition. The man said that the guy's muscle mass, bodily fluids, and physical aspect are in good condition. He's at his most stable weight, doesn't think he needs to change anything, but the guy was interested in what class he's going to be in. The coach said it's a later look, but most likely he'll get into the lightweight class. But the guy was confused. He weighs 80 pounds, and the coach knows it. The guy thought he needed to lose 10 kilos, and the coach said he was right. Hwi Sung got nervous. Isn't that too much? He'll lose a lot of strength and stamina. But the trainer said that it's only for fights. The rest of the time the hero will stay at his weight. So there won't be any problems with stamina and strength. But the guy thought the opposite, that the weigh-in is on the day or the day before the fight. But in MMA, it's usually the day before. But the coach means that he has to lose 10 pounds in one day. The guy doesn't understand that. But the man says he just has to keep that in mind. That his trainer will monitor Hwi Sung's condition, and will know when it's time. Next on the guy's list is training. He's special to them. Usually they pass a test at the main office and join the club. But the guy passed without training. No knowledge of the basics. Just some broken guy. The hero knew he had a lot of studying to do. So he has to act fast. He needs to learn jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling, to train his body for combat. He's got a lot to do. Coach gave the kid a training schedule. Monday and Thursday will be general strength training. Friday and Saturday is jiu-jitsu. And Sunday is the kid's day off. The coach agreed on the schedule. Park Sung-hoon asked if Hwi Sung had any questions. If he did, he could ask them now. But the boy didn't have any questions. The master wondered if he didn't have any, or if he had so many that he couldn't ask. But the hero said he didn't have any, he'd been practicing for years. The coach said they wouldn't start practicing until after the test. It didn't matter if they would train as girlfriends or as a team. The coach warned that the practice would be hard. Hwi Sung said it's not his first practice, and it's not his second practice either. He asked to be as strict with him as they want. The coach said the guy looks confident. The protagonist said that all he has to do is complete the tasks. Park Sung-hoon said the protagonist has a good attitude. Asked the guy if they would start right away. But the guy was confident. He said there's a reason not to start. Let's go! But the guy got down on the floor and said shit. The coach said he'd lose his breath if he just lay there. But the hero said it was easier to die. The coach asked him where his fervor went. Why is he sighing? Gave up on the pledge class already? The guy is going to be shocked when he starts training for the competition. Even though he said it. Bench press with a 90-pound bench press. Lift a 28-pound kettlebell with both hands 12 times. Lift 12 times again. Squats with a 140-pound weight. Everything gradually increases with change, assignments. This heavyweight training is not withstood by fighters of even average weight category. Sometimes, the heavy weight helps to determine the weight load while lowering the weight. I can't believe he worked off that heavy weight. Amazing guy. Why are you mixing? Going crazy with fatigue? So freaky, said the coach. But the guy loves it. He loves the muscle soreness and the feeling of fatigue. What for? You should have told me you weren't strong enough. That's what coach said. Sung-hoon Hyung. But the guy said he's not just someone, didn't he? But the coach was shocked. So Hwi Sung was listening to that conversation, and he said he heard everything? It was, the hero said it so calmly. Park Sung-hoon said, even though he was a little too much back then, he wasn't one of us. So the coach apologized to the guy and said it's time to get up. Let's do some stretching. The hero said what? But he was already stretching. Coach said it's a conditional workout. The guy was retaliating. He was asking questions, and he was really pissed. Didn't Hwi Sung pass the strength test? Said the coach. When a man came in, the hero got scared and screamed. He introduced himself as Jeong Hwan, the muscle and strength coach. The guy asked Hyung, what are you doing here? He said he's doing the second half of the training. Didn't they tell you? He grabbed the guy by the neck, said, "Let's go." But the hero yelled for him to wait. Said it's not good to change coaches in the middle of practice like that. He'll work it out with Sung Hoon Hyung. Dae Young Hyun said that. Did you hear him? What should we do? The man looked at YSLN and said. The man smiled and the guy thought they would continue practicing together. But the man said they were done anyway, so he Dae Young Hyun. The guy told the guy to wait. They haven't done the stretching yet. 3 minutes, no 1 minute. Stop. The coach thought he had a lot to learn. Like how to stop trusting athletes. Hwi Sung, it's rare for a person to have both feelings and will and perseverance. Apparently, he's going to be the rookie to lead the market sales in MMA. Coach yelled at Hwi Sung. He said he was kidding. He only did 1 round. The kid was saying God save and keep him. The master stood and watched all this and thought, though, you have to take his past into account. Hwi Sung looked at the man as the coach shouted, distracted. The hero said angrily, no way. I'm working hard, honestly. It was team practice. The man coached the guy when he was telling him to duck. He was telling the guy where to go and how to be. He told the hero not to pause, because the enemy wouldn't let him hit him. The guy said he had bad punches. Could he train them at home or something? If they could, someone would be practicing to the bone by now. Jiu-Jitsu coach Lee Soo-hook asked Hwi Sung if Hwi Sung was helping him. But he said that if it helped, he would have debuted a long time ago. The coach said it's a good job. And they'll take a break. When the guy turned around, someone yelled out to Hwi Sung. It was Jeong Hwan Hyun. He said their training started at the same time. Why not have a chat? Hwi Sung just wanted to say that. The guy was surprised to hear that the hero had joined them. He said he wouldn't go anywhere without Hyung. The guy said, God, that's vulgar. The protagonist said he'll understand when he's older. But the guy got mad and said he knew he wanted to make fun of him. He says he's gonna kick his ass right now. Somebody said, Brothers back, boys. They said they're back to see the gray. Attention! I have an announcement for everyone. Come to me, said the leader. Everyone sat down and looked at him. The master was holding something in his hands and asked everyone if anyone knew what he was holding in his hands. The guy raised his hand and said, Isn't this an offer? The man said, Bingo. He has 4 of them. He stole them thanks to his speed and dialed them up a bunch. Everyone was screaming, it's awesome. Way to go. Gangster. Did the manager say who called him gangster? You have no idea how hard he worked to get them. The guy asked Hyung what the offer was. He told him that the invitation to the championship for bids means they are invited to 4 different matches. The hero asked if anyone could participate, but the mentor said of course not. It's only possible because the organizers know what kind of show our team will put on. Hwi Sung asked other teams don't get invites. The guy replied that you think just asking would be enough to get an invitation? It's all about effort. We just need to be grateful. The coach said enough talk, it's time to announce the names. Channel 1 Young-kun is the wrestling coach. This is where the guy answered. Next, Yoon Tai-chun. This is the kicking coach. Yes, he answered. They are both awarded the Golden Glove, thought Hwi Sung to himself. The third one is Eugene. She said yes. They say she's the same age as me, thought the hero. Min Eugene, the winner of X1, won 5 out of 5 rounds in the minimum weight class, up to 52 kilograms. She got the spotlight thanks to her awards and got the name, MMA Goddess, from her fans. I'm as far away from her as the moon, thought the protagonist. And there's only one person left, said the leader. As Hwi Sung said to himself, forget about the contract, he is not worthy of a place in the league. And started laughing and saying to himself, my second toe is longer than the first. And the last person, the guy asked. Hwi Sung. He was shocked, he said. Why? Everyone was outraged and said, Who Hwi Sung? Hwi Sung got an invitation. How is that possible? The girl looked at him with a displeased look and thought for a moment. Hwang Sang-guk said that just like he said, the conditions were set by the team, so no hard feelings. Is there any objection? If not, we're done. Those who have received proposals, come to Sung-hoon. Master walked over and hugged the guy and asked him why don't they talk face to face. The supervisor, replied the hero. They went to the staff room. The guys are not very happy, said the main character. But the master said, so what if they are not happy? The decision was made by the organizers. But the guy said, and still he is worried. No need to worry. They, more than anyone else, know that only the organizers decide. You can rejoice and celebrate, said the leader, outnumbered and bewildered. Also, I feel uneasy. From whom did the offer come? Said the hero. The master replied that it was from X1. The guy was shocked. He said X1 is not the best organization in Korea. How did they know about me? The coach replied that the guy's video went viral and the MMA public. The thug who turned the Central League upside down. The monster who destroyed a professional fighter, that's what they call you. So I'm making my debut? Asked the kid. Apparently. However, we have a problem, said the master. The guy said something like this as the coach told him to take a look. There was Jong Soo-cho, 23 years old, height 184 centimeters, 87 kilograms. Huh? A welterweight. He was shocked. Coach told him to look at the second sheet. There was a match schedule. September 9th? Today is August 18th. Are you sure there's no mistake? Asked the hero. The master said it's a switch match. The first fighter is out due to injury. You'll be his replacement. In 3 weeks you will need to lose weight, analyze your opponent, and prepare. Moreover, the opponent is of large build, trained and experienced. Any ideas? Asked the master. But Hwi Sung gave it some thought. Training for 3 months before and after a match is a natural process in MMA. Fighting a top-notch opponent without a good physical balance is no different from suicide, however. Let's give it a try, said the protagonist. Are you sure? There will be no turning back if you dare, said the leader. But the guy wanted to do it. The master said that the guy will sign the contract tomorrow. Today he can rest. That's it? You're not coming back, the hero asked. You think he'd take it if he wasn't? The offer would have been in the trash by now. You can go, said the coach. Would the match be that easy? The boy wondered to himself. But then the man called out to Hwi Sung, asked him if his parents knew he was competing in MMA competitions. But he said no, not yet. But the leader decided it's not his place to interfere. As their son, you shouldn't fight without their consent. Hwi Sung said he'll tell them. How about it? You can talk to your parents today and decide tomorrow, said the master. See you tomorrow, said the boy. They have to answer by tomorrow if you'll participate. If not, they'll change the schedule. Don't be stubborn and upset your parents. Tell them the truth. If they don't agree, you can participate another time, said the master. Will there be another time? Said the hero. But the man hesitated. Just asked. In any case, all will tell you tomorrow, said Hwi Sung, and left. The leader exhaled as a guy came up to him and said that Hwi Sung is worried because in the past his sports activities have brought his parents a lot of problems. But the man said, arg, how annoying. The guy came home and said he's back. The sitting woman said Hwi Sung is early today. He said he was a little tired. His mom said he just got back from practice, right? Go take a shower. Parquet said he'd already showered at the gym. But his mom said he might have sweated on the way home. But the hero said the mother is just like the father. Both of you can't stand a shower. Oh! Dad answered and shouted whack-a-ar. Google. The woman got scared and threw things on the floor that she was folding. The mother started beating her husband. The hero said, I have something to tell you. But the mom insisted he take a shower. The kid agreed. They all sat down and the dad asked the question, "What do you think, honey?" But the woman said she didn't know. He's always doing what he wants, and now he's asking permission. Come on, do you think Hwi Sung will say something after saying that? The man replied. The girl was angry and asked if he'd say what? He's going to tell us that he's going to take up mixed martial arts from now on? Honey, he wants to discuss it with us. Why are you reacting so harshly? Asked the mentor. But the woman said she doesn't care what he wants, she's still against it. The man said for her to at least, "I'll hear," Hwi Sung said, "Mom." But the girl screamed saying, "Don't talk to me, don't you dare talk to me. 10 years of staying up at night and not eating so you can play sports. Stop socializing with friends and people in principle, and only got older. And now you're saying you want to take up MMA? How long do I have to do what you want? Why do I always have to compromise? Don't you think about your mother for once? Forget it, you two can do whatever you want. I'm just cleaning the place anyway." But the guy grabbed his mother's hand and told her to wait. He knows she's sacrificed a lot for him, and he's always been ashamed of it. That's why he wants her permission. Please believe in me, the last time the hero asked the woman. She looked at him and took her hand away, and told him to do what he wanted. The boy looked at his mother. Dad told him not to get upset. His mom was just worried about him. But Hwi Sung knew about it. Mom only gets mad when she's worried about him. Dad comes over and says our son's all grown up. Knew what you're wrong about, Mom? The guy asked what. The man said his mom is always angry. My neck is proof of that. The boy said he now understands why Mom is always angry. The mentor took his son by the neck and laughed with the words, "Are you kidding me?" The boy said, "Dad, does that mean I agree?" The man replied that of course it does. Who will you blame if you don't do what you wanted to do because of other people's disapproval? The guy hugged his dad and said he was not a stranger. The man replied that he knows. It's good that he remembers it. That's enough for him. He needs to go cheer up his mom. Does he think she would mind so much if she didn't sacrifice herself for him? The hero said cheer her up, of course. Dad said fine, and asked the guy if he had anything else he wanted to say. The hero said to please lend him his credit card to pay for the team. Also to earn points and get his taxes reduced. The man laughed and said, "You'll go far, son, even taking care of your father. You'll pay me back some money later, won't you?" But the boy asked if Daddy wanted to take the money from his son. Dad said, "Geez, no wonder he hears the guy bluff, cheat." The guy said, "Who knows, maybe he'll pay him twice, no 3 times as much when he gets famous." But the guy said that, yes, of course, if he could succeed, he would have done it long ago. But Hwi Sung said he wouldn't regret it. Dad said no. "Even if I get famous and get on TV?" said the hero. That won't happen," said the mentor. But the main character yelled out, "Even if I make friends with female groups?" Dad was shocked and shook his son's hand and asked him how much money he needed for the future champion. The kid said he'd give it to him.